Okay, so this is actually an exciting time for me because today I am going to share with you something that there's nobody in this room I've ever shared with, that I've never shared from the stage, I've never shared in a small group, I've never shared in a one-on-one, and until earlier today, I really hadn't even shared with my wife. Okay? So if that gives you an idea, I'm going to read you an excerpt from the introduction of my book. Okay? So I want to read it because if I get into it, plus it's very personal, very affecting, so I want to make sure that I do it in a short period of time and do it in a way that hopefully will get the message across. So, and this is an incredible timing. Okay, so today, it was September 8th. What day is today? September 8th. It was September 8th, 2005. Exactly 12 years ago today. That day, a lot of people don't know, was the most terrifying day of my life. Unlike today, 2005, September 8th was a Thursday. It wasn't a Friday. And we had just landed in DFW after a 4-hour flight. And then we just gotten to our gate, and I was asleep. Now, I don't know how many of you travel. Anybody travel a lot or whatever? Are you able to sleep on planes or whatever? I'm off book right now, but are you able to sleep on planes? Before I kind of proceed, let me give you a little bit of backdrop so you kind of understand me. Some of you know me better than others. My brother-in-law happens to be in the room here, also a good friend and a business partner, so I appreciate him. But a lot of you don't really know me. Okay, so let me give you a little bit of background. So after 33 years in corporate America, primarily in executive business development roles, those kinds of things, I had the opportunity, air quotes, to log over 3 million miles on airplanes. Well, during that time, I had refined my skill. I didn't used to be able to sleep on planes, but I had refined my skill in sleeping on airplanes. I also learned to sleep in limos and in airports and just about in the bathroom, just about any place where I could catch a opportunity to recharge my battery. Some people call those power naps. I'm not even sure they qualified for that, but I would find every opportunity. And that's one of the reasons why my normal weekly routine, the reason why that was the case wasn't that just I'm lazy, because if you know me, I have quite a bit of energy and I do a lot of things. But my normal weekly routine during that time, and for many years of my life, was to squeeze as much time out of every weekend as I possibly could. So I would leave every Monday on the first flight out, wherever I was going. And then my goal, my objective was to get back every Thursday, at the latest on Thursday night. So I at least had, and I worked from home when I was in town. So I had the opportunity to spend at least 3 days and nights. Generally refused to fly out on Sunday. So I was in somewhat control, right? At least that's my perception. And I could leave and get quality time with my wife and 5 kids. Okay. So some of you know that I have 5 kids, but so that was the thing. At least in this regard, this September 8th that I was landing was shaping up to be a normal week. If you'll indulge me, let me give you a little better picture of my life. When I was working, I was transported to and from the airport in limousines, town cars, rare occasions in a taxi. That was before Uber and Lyft. And I know that's hard for some of the younger ones to imagine, but that was actually before those things. When I traveling, I stayed in 5-star hotels all over the world. France, United Kingdom, Australia, New Zealand, North and South America, just about any place you could hope to have traveled to. When I was at home, I lived in a 7,500 square foot house. Everybody in my house that drove new cars. Mine happened to be, this is really cool, and it's very ironic in some ways, is that my car, and Lon knows this, at that time was a 2003 Jaguar 007 Special Edition, Die Another Day, green, convertible Jaguar XKR. Okay? That was my life at home. We owned a condo in Michigan, and when we went on vacations, we went to Hawaii, the Caribbean, all over North and South America, different places. Again, by all measures, you look at things, and would you say I was living the dream? In some people's case, I would say that most people live in the dream, right? That sounds right. So after I woke up from this 4-hour sleep on the plane, I hope you can understand that this is why what I saw rocked my world. What I saw was a zombie apocalypse. I woke up in the middle of a zombie apocalypse. Say, how can that be? I said, well, the bell chimed, the seatbelt light came on, went off just like it normally does, hundreds of times before, but this time when I woke up, what I saw was terrifying to me. That flight was full of zombies. They began rising. You've been on a plane, dragging themselves out of their seats, began shuffling back and forth, waiting so that they could drag their bags and follow the herd. I don't know if you watch The Walking Dead. I mean, this is a great picture of what you see on the herd, following the herd out off the plane. Now, I happened to be in first class, so I got up quickly. I looked to my right, and the VP that was on my right, he was a zombie too. He looked like a zombie. I think he was infected. The business owner across the aisle was a zombie too. So I wanted to get up and get out of there, but there was 2 rows ahead of me, so I had to wait. So I had to wait, but I got off the plane quickly, and when I got out as fast as I could. When I got to inside the airport, I looked around, and it was no different. There were people shuffling. Some were moving a little faster than maybe the people on the plane, but they were still shuffling to their exit. They're shuffling to the gate. They were shuffling to wherever. And I thought, oh my gosh, am I infected too? And I ran into the bathroom, and I looked in the mirror. I remember I just woke up from a 4-hour nap, mostly. And I looked in the mirror, and I was relieved to find that there was a glimmer. I said, I'm alive. I'm alive. There's still a flicker in my eyes. But I looked in that mirror, and I asked myself, what's the point? That moment, that day, 12 years ago today, you're at a unique time. Some of you know what's happened since then. And I've had other breakthroughs after that. But that was my first breakthrough. That changed my life forever. So that gives you a little bit of background on me, a little bit of my background, a little bit of my story. And actually that is in the preface to my book. So a version of that. And it'll probably get 3 or 4 edits before I ever get done, as anybody who's done any writing knows. I edited this presentation a number of times. The question I have today for you is you're all here. Hopefully nobody came out of obligation. Hopefully somebody came here themselves looking in need of a breakthrough, in need of their own. Hopefully there's no zombies here. You look around, you see any? Did you see any? Did you look in the mirror and see one before you came in? I mean, the reality of it is, what do zombies do? What do they do? What do they feel? What's their purpose? What's their vision? Their vision is they're eating, right? Do they care about survival? I don't think so. They're just eating. They're just going through the motions, right? They're getting from one step in front of the other, going from day to day. So maybe you're just getting started. Maybe you're here and you've got a business, or you're online and you're looking at this and you're saying, I'm ready to start. I had at least a mini breakthrough and I want to get started. I want to start my own business, or I got to change jobs, or something transition. Like maybe you came in here like me, on the plane, landing. By all measures, you look at it and say, you're solid success, everything's going good. But every minute is filled, every aspect is there, and maybe you started asking yourself, what's the point? Maybe you need a breakthrough. Maybe you're trying, maybe things are really good and you just are stuck. You're stuck at that level and you're just, how do I take it to the next level? Maybe you need a breakthrough because this isn't getting it. I'm on a path, and I'm not even sure necessarily where I'm going, but I'm on this path, and I think I need a new direction. I think I need a new path. Or maybe you're successful, as I said, but something else. Fill in the blank. I mean, this is for you. This is for me. You need to imagine here. Think about these things. Look at yourself. Are you surrounded by zombies? Are you a zombie? Are you working through this whole thing? Or like most of the CEOs and business owners, and I know Scott has experienced this, anybody who's worked with CEOs and tried to get them moving forward on things that are very successful. I remember I actually retired from the corporate world a little less than 12 years ago, a little after this breakthrough that I just shared with you. And I will tell you that the biggest challenge, the biggest breakthrough required is just clarity to decide what to do next. And you say, that's crazy to think of, the President of the United States or a CEO of a large company or just somebody that you would look at as very successful and say, they're paralyzed, they can't make a decision. And the reality of it is there's a lot of them, 80, 90% of the ones that I've worked with, they're at one degree or another paralyzed when it comes to making decisions that would transform their company, transform their business, transform their life. They're trapped in what we call a license to operate, or the comfort zone, or whatever you want to call it, right? And it's not unusual to be there. This is not a place where the rarest of people are there. This is a place where we all get to in a pretty regular. There's other things. Maybe you can think of some in your life, other needs that you have for a breakthrough. Well, today what I'm going to do in a very short order, and for one thing, I already said I got a lot of information. And part of what I'm doing is teeing up an opportunity that's free, so don't panic, for you to dig deeper and possibly take these. But if you don't ever go anything further than this, what I share with you today will lay a foundation for you of the 3 pillars that I have for really achieving your own breakthrough and fulfilling what we call in the 5-day breakthrough to sustainable growth, the vision challenge. Okay? So the foundation for breakthrough, I promise that if you're looking to break out of your status quo or to achieve what you maybe once imagined and hadn't reconnected with for a while, or maybe you've never really imagined what it was and it's time to sit down and say, okay, what is the point? Where am I going? Where's my business going? What am I doing? Is this really where I intended to go? Or maybe it's you need more return on your time and money. Maybe you're going to networking meetings and feel like you're spinning your wheels. Maybe you're having one-on-ones. Maybe you're selling. Maybe you're just, punching the clock. Most people in this room, and probably people that are looking, they may be in that trap. They may be employees. A lot of you are business owners, and that's okay. That's really why I'm here, is because most of you are trying and wanting to break out, to take your business, your networking next level, and that's a lot of it. Maybe you want more influence. Maybe you want to be the most interesting person that walked in that door today. You want to be the guy or the gal or the person that when everybody sees you come into the networking room, they're not running the other way because they figure you're going to sell you something, right? You're trying to pitch them. But they're actually want you, they see you and they know where you're going, that you know your purpose. You have a focus that's not within yourself but outside yourself. Maybe that's what you want to do. Maybe you just want to have more influence. Maybe you need sustainable growth. And the growth is essential. You know, one of the things we said when we started the Business Growth Network, I said it's not for profit, but it's also not for loss. If you do things that are continually draining you or draining your business of finances or draining your life of resources or relationships, is that sustainable? No. And that's the point. Sustainable growth, you know, a lot of people can promise you growth. And you can get short-term growth a lot of different ways. There's a lot of people who know how to herd zombies. Okay? A lot of people that know how to herd zombies. They can give you a pitch, they can convince you they're a guru, and they will teach you how to have short-term growth. But the problem with short-term growth is it's not built on the right foundation. And that's what I'm hopefully going to give you some foundational things here today. And then what I am going to do, because I am going to run out of time, is at the very end, I'm going to give you a couple of steps that you can take if you want to pursue this further. I'm not going to just leave you hanging, okay? Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay, so today's journey, we're going to talk about your unique reason. The 3 pillars that I want to talk about is your unique reason, your why. Why are you doing what you're doing? And I will talk about that in a second. Your unique vision. And when I say your unique vision, I can paint the picture that I painted for you of my life. I can even paint you the picture today of what I want, if anything were possible, what I can imagine. But you know what? That's mine. It's unique. I can't give it to you. If you ask me, I want that. Tell me how to get that. I can't give you that vision because I believe that God or the universe gave you a unique reason. But that's there. Your unique vision is, I have a vision, you have it. You may be afraid of it, you may not have even addressed it, but you have a unique vision. There is something that's in you that's your unique vision, and you have a value, a unique value that nobody else has. Doesn't matter if they sell the same product as you, doesn't matter if they're in the same company as you, doesn't matter if they look like you. You have a unique value. And so if you're really looking, the benefit I hope to give you today is it's unique to everyone. So you're going to be the one that gets to decide whether or not I've actually delivered this value. But my goal is to deliver you a value where whether you want, better relationships, maybe this is personal. Maybe your relationships suck. Maybe you don't feel like you have good solid relationships. Maybe you need more sales. A lot of people come into these meetings, right? They want more customers. They want more sales. More networking, more partnering, back to able to make good decisions and be decisive. Then the value that you'll get out of the things that I'm going to teach today and the things that we would go with the 5-day breakthrough is the things that give you clarity, give you confidence, give you decisiveness, motivate you and enable you to act, give you some peace about, hey, I don't have to sit around every day and figure out, am I going in the right direction? Because I know where I'm going. Those kinds of things. Give you that kind of confidence, and then ultimately that success and that sustainable growth that we all tend to strive for. Is that fair? Is that worth, a couple more minutes of me talking and getting excited here? So that's what today's journey is about. So let's talk about your unique reason, or a lot of times we throw out your why, and the why really is, number one, as I said before, it's not within me. I can't give it to you. It's within you. If you don't know what it is, then you need to find it, number one. And number two is, there's a whole lot more questions than the ones I'm going to lay out here today that you need to ask yourself and go through, and that's part of what's in the 5-day challenge. So what drive, a question that you can ask yourself is, it's in within you, but what drives you? Why did you get up this morning? Did somebody tell you you had to get up? You know, most of you aren't getting up for a paycheck, so you're motivated to do something, but what is really getting you up? And if you're getting up, and if you're that zombie that I talked about in the morning, that you get up because that's what you do. I get up on Monday morning, I get in a car, they drive me to the airport, I get on a plane, I fly to my engagement, I have meetings as much as I can possibly do in the course of 4 days, I get back on the plane, and I go back home, and my energy comes back when I see my kids. That's part of my why, but I got 5. Everybody else got 5 kids? No. Your why isn't as big as mine now. No, I'm just kidding. But no, but that's part of it. Why did you start your business? You know, why did Scott start his business? Why did you start doing what you're doing? You know, Lon, why did you start, focusing on share? You know, why? What is it? And keep asking the question in a form of what's called Socratic Inquiry, to the point where you appreciate the answer, but why? What's the point? Part of getting to the why is continuing to ask why until you run out of answers. Does that make sense? And so in the 5-day challenge, we spend a whole day on getting you, and not a whole day. I mean, and I'll explain to you what the whole 5-day challenge looks like. So it's not like 5, you got to dedicate a week. But why you started, why are you aspiring to grow? Aspiring is an important word to me. It's an intentional word for me. Aspiring is, I am not where I will plan to end up. I am going someplace. Is it interesting to you when you're around people that are aspiring versus people that are just stagnant? Are you more interested to hang around people? Maybe that's comfortable for you. Maybe you feel like, hey, well, at least I'm going a little speed. I'm shuffling faster than the zombie next to me, so maybe I get to the next meal quicker. But is that a great deal of satisfaction? So, what is your what accomplishment? And these are questions to ask. What accomplishment would you like most to be remembered for? When you think of what you've done up to this point, some of us have more history than others. That means we're older. But what is it up to this point in your life that you look at and you say, if people were going to remember me for something, I would like it to be this. You can take the counter to that and say, what things that I don't want them to remember, because I got plenty of those too, right? We all have plenty of those. And then do you or will you be remembered or matter to the world? Those are introspective questions. It's a scary thing, but that's a pillar of really having a foundation upon which you can grow a sustainable business. You can generate sales. You can be attractive. You can attract the people you want to attract. Because you know why you're here. Everybody's unique. If I don't know why you're here, why should you want a relationship with me? You sit there and you wonder, okay, why does nobody talk to me in a networking meeting? Why do I have trouble calling somebody or following up on a lead? Or why do I do this? And the reality of it is, it's because a lot of times you don't know why. You don't know why you're even picking up the phone. You don't know why you want to grow. Making money, trust me, is not a why. I had a 7-digit income on the day that I saw the zombie apocalypse. Okay? That wasn't my why. Trust me, it wasn't. So the next one is your unique vision. And here we talk a lot about, this is my question, this is what I call, what Jenna calls my signature question. If anything were possible, what kind of future could you imagine for yourself and your business? The words are intentional, and I want to take a minute for you to understand how to answer that question. We're not going to go into it as deep, because in the Vision Challenge, we take 2 days today's 5-day breakthrough to sustainable growth challenge, the vision challenge, we've done a couple of times since that was a little longer. We've gotten focused, and part of it is that this is the most important thing. So these two questions, if anything were possible, anything is anything and everything. It's not one thing to start with, because how are you going to paint that picture? Why did I share with you the fact that I lived in a big house and drove new cars and whatever? Because that's the picture of where my life was. When I think about where my life is going, do you think some of those things are going to matter to me? Some of them won't, some of them will, but I need to figure out which ones do, and that needs to be part of my unique vision for my life. I don't want to be where Mary is. For one thing, she's got young kids, and I'm okay with grandkids that young, but I don't want kids that young anymore. But I want to have a vision of where I'm going. Anything is anything. All right? That's the first thing. Were possible. As soon as you start trying to say, okay, if anything were possible, and you say, this is what I've had, and then you start trying to figure out how to make it possible, you've now limited your possibilities. How many people here, and be honest with me, because the thing is, none of this works if you're not willing to be honest and you're not willing to take action on what you learn. You're right? So the only way it happens is if you act on it. So the point is, how many of you here would say you settled? I'm raising my hand. How many that you settled? You settled. You said, this isn't where I want to be. I settled. I mean, you settled for things. Now, some more than others, some more further off. Part of the reason why is you don't even know. You say, oh, have I settled? I'm not sure. The reality of it is, if you haven't settled, then you can tell me, if anything were possible, what your life would look like in great clarity, and tell me exactly how you're on the path from that desired, imagined future today. And if you can't do that, I don't care how successful you think you are or how successful I think I am. I'm not picking on anybody. You've settled to some degree. It's just how much are you willing to settle for, right? The future, where possible is not the how. The future is just not today. Okay. That's 10.
9 minutes.
I got 9 minutes till 12:45. Great. Thank you, Randy. Yeah, I've got I'm at a higher altitude than he expected, so I've got to drop it down to 30,000 feet. Yeah. But the future is just real simple. It's not today. It's what future you can create this imagined place. The reality of it is long-range planning today. I think, again, there's other coaches, people work with executives, businesses in the room, or you have, and I can say that today, long-range planning is sometimes not that useful. I mean, it is, but it's not. Because the reality of it is things are changing at an exponential rate, and you've got to figure out what point in the future that's a future that's looking like this, hockey stick type of future, that you're going to pick and you're going to start going to, and then work your way back from there. That's the methodology that I use. But the reality of it is, you can't outthink it. So you keep going further, it keeps moving further and further away. So the reality is you got to pick a place. It's not my place. There's a part of context or things that we're not going to get into, even in the Vision Challenge, that if you really are serious about making this happen, like some of the CEOs who paid what you'll get in the Vision Challenge, $20,000 for 4 hours, you'll get for free, okay, is you're going to get some clarity that will allow you to do that. So imagine isn't something I've seen before, something I'm looking for. It's not history, his story or her story, as I say. It's not what's looking back, because we tend to think that way, right? Past, present, future, logical. History, I can see it, it's clear, it's obvious. That's the clearest place I can be. No, that's the most confusing place you can be. The most clarity you can get is out in the future. And if you want to understand what that is, again, that's why this second and third day of the Vision Challenge, we drill down on that. But whether you do the Vision Challenge or not, these are the things that you need to think. If anything were possible, answer that question. Do the best you can. If you don't need any help, if you can do it on your own, that's fine. But do it. Understand what that unique vision of yours has. And then the last one, and this is the one where I promised you, and this is actually a very shortened, trite version of your unique value. And I'm going to give everybody a chance. You guys have been really quiet, and I hope that's because you wanted to hear what I had to say. But I'm going to give you a chance to now answer these questions. I'm going to everybody answer. This isn't, nobody gets to sit here. Oh, you can sit here if you're a zombie, and you just grunt. Okay. Otherwise, answer the question. And I'm going to give you the prompts to do it. The first question is, who are you? So think about this for a minute. This one's really hard. You got it? What's your name? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, come on.
Lloyd.
All right, I'm going to give the questions get harder, so I want to make sure this one you should be really confident in. Okay, so I want you to say it really loud so that they can hear it on Facebook and wish they were here. Okay, is that cool? All right, so 1, 2, 3.
Lloyd.
Yeah. Okay, now you know who you are. This is important because that's one of the 5 things you need to know your life's purpose, who you are. The second one is what you do. Give this some thought. This is a little harder. This is one that's often hard to answer, and I'll explain that in a second. But what I really want you to do when you say, what do you do? I want you to think of, what do you love to do? And if that still gives you too many possibilities, in other words, I love to do this, I love to play golf, I love to hang out with my kids, but what do you love to do? If that's hard, then what do you personally, you feel uniquely qualified to teach somebody else? Pick one thing. No right or wrong. Remember, it's yours. Ready for it? Everybody got it? Okay. Shout it out, just like your name. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Didn't hear any of those. No, I mean, but you heard it, right? You heard what you said. You know what you said. Okay, so that's what do you do? This now gets a little hard. Who do you do it for? Who do you do it for? People, kids, men, women, executives. Who primarily do? And understand that when we get into the vision challenge, we talk about unique value. There's a lot of work that goes. There's 2 days we spend on your unique value. But here, yes, sir.
Is there only one answer to that? I mean, can you only
You
pick
get,
one?
you can pick one. You could pick one, but who do you do it for? If it's like a lot of different people, then people. People who can buy insurance or whatever. I mean, but okay, so it's not one word, but who do you do it for? You got it? You got something in your head. Okay? 1, 2, 3.
Everybody.
Okay? Heard everybody. I did hear that. Good job, Lloyd. You heard the book. Okay, everybody. What do those people want and or need? What do those people want and or need that you're just set? Got it? Everybody got it? Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Clarity.
Okay. Right, clarity. And well, you're the advantage of being up front. Lloyd's going to be heard on the. No. And then I heard a lot of grunts. Maybe there was zombies still.
Yeah.
So, no. Okay. And the last one is, and this is the most important. Not that they aren't all important. Who you are is important. Everything. What do those people change? How do those people change or benefit because of what you provide? What you give? How do those people change or transform or whatever? Got it? Anybody? Everybody? Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Live a long, happy, and healthy life.
Okay. Now, if we took those answers and we put them in the form of a sentence, especially the last few, you could say, I do fill in your blank for fill in your blank because they need fill in your blank to give them blessing. Okay. So now, if you just if you ever go into a networking meeting or on an elevator or you meet somebody at a mixer or whatever and they say, what do? You know your answer? You already got it. It's the last one. I help executives live their dream vision. If you write books, if you help people with their diet, I help people live a happy and healthy life. I help people manage the risk in their lives by having adequate, you don't explain, that's what I do. You don't even have to explain, because the interesting thing is if you tell them your unique value, what you do. The other thing is, if you want to be happy with anything you do, Anil Gupta talks about, giving, being grateful, and growing. If you're growing in your life's purpose, if you know why you're doing what you're doing and you know the value you provide people and you're outwardly focused, then you're going to be growing. Okay, so again, that's part of what we do in the unique value stage. So imagine your breakthrough. Imagine right now, then once you've kind of gotten these things, and this is one of the things we get, is what does it look like when you're fulfilling your why? How about, imagine achieving the dream vision that you maybe haven't even crafted in your own mind, but living and moving towards where you want to go. Imagine attracting the money and the partners you need, because the reality of it is, money, and Scott will tell you this, everybody, money is looking for good ideas. Money is looking. If you've ever watched the Shark Tank, if you looked at people, they look at you and say, this guy's going somewhere. I want to invest in that. I want a piece of that. I want a part of that company. I want to own, they're looking for those ideas. If you say, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, but you just don't have these 3 pillars nailed down. Because those things follow this. Those things in your life that you want follow you, because you're an aspiring leader. Everybody here is here. If you're here, I assume you're an aspiring leader. You're not a zombie. You're going somewhere, because you wouldn't waste your time coming here and listening to anything I have to say if you weren't trying to move forward. You just may need to have some clarity on what that looks like. So, wouldn't it be great to have your ideal customers know where you're at and be lined up at your door looking for you? That's a lot of why people are here. They need customers, they need people to help. So, it all begins October 2nd. This is the part that I want you to understand. Is when I talked about the Vision Challenge thing. That's what I've gotten you everything I can get you in these 30 minutes. But as those who have participated in the previous Vision Challenges, and believe me, you want to do this one again. I recommend that you do this at least once a year anyway. But this 2017 Vision Challenge is 5 days, and it's free. What it really is there's daily emails that come to you during the challenge. There's daily Facebook Live coaching. So you'll have, Q&A, you'll have, like we're doing Facebook Live here. There's a private Vision Challenge Facebook engagement group where you can share, get help from the aspiring leaders, the elite group of aspiring leaders that are also on their Vision Quest or their Vision Challenge with you, to ask questions, to ask myself, ask Jenna, ask anybody who's also on their Vision Challenge in confidence. And we help each other out. The other thing is there will be opportunities for affiliates and partnerships and so on as we go forward here. So if that's kind of a motivator, something, again, for me, the Vision Challenge, just so you know, for me, when I work with people, that's the qualified meeting. If you haven't taken that Vision Challenge and you want my time, we have to take that before you get my time. Because to me, if you don't know where you're going, it's hard for me to help you to get to someplace you want to be, if that makes sense. And then the last one is, for this, I decided we were going to make a special offer. One of the things is it's important once you know your vision. We learned over the last year when we've been doing this, that it's important to take action. So following this October 2nd, it will end on the Friday. It starts on Monday, ends on Friday, the Vision Challenge. You'll have the weekend. During that weekend, I'm going to have a coaching an opportunity for a one-to-one coaching call to kind of prep and help you with what you've come out of your Vision Challenge with one-on-one. Develop that, and then on Tuesday, the 10th of October, we will have a growth playbook workshop. There's the 10 most essential things you'll need to take what you have there and to move out and start getting customers and start really driving and transforming your business. Not everything, but it's the 10 most, that's an 8-hour, that's going to be an 8-hour day. And the reason why it says, basically the 1 hour personal coaching is $250 normally. The growth playbook workshop is going to be $197. If you wait till after, it's going to be $197 all by itself. No prep, whatever. You can get those, but they're going to have this kind of price tag. So what you're talking about there is $498, and what we're going to say is for those first the 8 people, because we can only handle 8 in the conference room that we're going to conduct this workshop. So this is not artificial. This is actually that. The first 8 people that sign up for the Vision Challenge is free. You can sign up for Vision Challenge. You don't have to do anything. This deal is only if you want to get the Vision Challenge workshop. You want to you think you're going to come out of you're going to come out of the Vision Challenge. You want to take action. And then the other thing we're throwing in is we have a Business Growth Network Insider. So if you want to continue to hang out and associate and have access to a lot of resources, I'm not going to get into all that. The Business Growth Network Insiders has a lot of resources that you can have, and we have partners in there and stuff that you'll be able to get access to stuff, and we're going to get 3 months of that, which right now is $17 a month. So that's where the $51 come from. So anyway, that's all I got. Hopefully you're not a zombie. Again, some of you are glossed over, but that's okay, because that's not unusual, because there's a lot to take in. But the reality of it is, I hope that we could all go forward and embrace those 3 pillars. But with that, thanks for your time, and I appreciate the opportunity to share with you. Thanks.
Now what we really want is that middle one, know, like, and trust, to become love, respect, and think you hung the moon. I want to have think you hung the moon status with everybody I meet. I mean, I want when somebody says,